Mic check 1 2. Mic check 3 4. Mic check 5 6. What's going on, guys? I almost messed that up. What's going on, guys? Good afternoon. Welcome to hashtag TNT JoeFi. Tech news that Jerome Ortega finds interesting. I am your host, Jerome Ortega. This is episode something because I lost count. This is also day something in quarantine because I care not to count that. But hello, everybody. How's it going? Good afternoon to people in the US. Good morning. Good evening to everyone else around the world. Did you notice I had a new intro there? Just something a little different. I was up late last night working on that, but that should be updated. It has everybody's like in order for super chats and people who are patrons and YouTube members. So again, thank you everybody for your support. I do appreciate it. Today is Wednesday, July 22nd. There is a lot of phone news today. Yesterday, we spent the day talking about the OnePlus Nord. Today, we're going to talk about the Motorola Edge. We're going to talk about the LG Velvet. We're going to talk about the Asus ROG Phone 3. We're going to talk about the latest update for the Galaxy Note 20, the Galaxy Z Flip, or is it the Fold? The Flip. I lose count. The Galaxy Z Flip. And then we're going to talk about, I guess it looks like a new beta version of iOS 14 came out. But that's kind of what I have in store for today. I don't know if we're going to get through all of that. Some of it we might just kind of like, barrel through. But it also depends on the chat, depends what's going on. So, we'll have a conversation. Yeah, so we can get started. I'm just trying to think of the order I want to do this. There's a lot going on in my head, for you guys who come in here regularly. I am going to be moving soon. I'm also making a lot of changes when it comes to my work stuff. I'm actually going to try to double down on this channel and, kind of focus back. But it's like I'm trying to weigh, with the jobs I have and paying the bills and, trying to still make this my main focus. That's really what I want out of this, is to do this full time, but it really just depends on how well, the income comes in for. Anyway, I'm not going to really go into all that right now. Let me go ahead and say hi to everybody and see what's going on. Paul was first. Paul, congratulations for being number one. Paul Hendricks, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. And then Levin was in here as well. What's up, people? Jerome, what's up, fam? I missed the last couple of streams. No worries, man. Levin, thank you for always making it. Appreciate you stopping by. Let me see here. Max Tech Studios. Yay. I made it just in time. Max Tech Studios. What's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. Yeah, new music. Yeah, change the intro a bit. Wanted to give a little more flair to it. Just trying to like up my game. That's all I'm trying to do at this point, is up my game. Okay, so let me see here. Going down. Ted, what's going on? Good afternoon. Ted, how you doing, man? Welcome to the stream. Paul saying, what's the key combo again? To what? What? Okay, Paul. Brian's in here as well. What up, everyone? What up, Brian? What's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Grant is in here. Grant, what up? Phone Jerome fam. Hashtag Phone Jerome fam. Thank you, Grant, for the shout out. What's up, man? How you doing? Tobez is in here. Every time I talk about the Velvet, Tobez seems to come in here. Tobez, I haven't seen you in a minute. Welcome. Ted is in here. Well, I already said Ted. The Galaxy Flip, Flex, Flop. Fold. Yeah, I've lost count. I really have. Tectonic. Yes to you too, Tectonic. Welcome. Hi, everyone. What's going on? All right, let's go ahead and get started. The first article I have here is from 9to5 Google. It is about the Motorola Edge. And this phone, we know about this phone. We've talked about the Motorola Edge Plus and how it's a Verizon exclusive and how it is very, very expensive. And I wouldn't recommend it because it's probably not going to have the best of updates. It's like I said, quite pricey. It is a carrier exclusive, so it'll have Verizon's logo on it 18 times. It'll probably have a ton of bloatware on it. That's how I feel about it. I don't like buying carrier locked phones, so that's my recommendation or my advice. If you want to buy one, like, who am I to say what to do with your money? I'm just giving you my opinion on it. But this Motorola Edge, so they announced this phone. I don't know how long ago they announced this phone, but a couple weeks ago, maybe longer. And this phone is a watered down version, and maybe watered down is not the right term for it, but it is a lesser version of the Motorola Edge Plus. And this phone was or is originally retails for $700, but you can get one if you pre-order one here in the States for $500 right now, with the Snapdragon 765. As soon as I saw this, the first thing that went through my head was they're competing with the Nord. That's how I see it. This is them competing directly with the OnePlus Nord. The other phone that is similar to this is the Moto G. What is it? The Moto G 5G Plus. These names on these phones are ridiculous, but the specs on this for $500 seems legit. It seems like, would I like for it to be $400 like the OnePlus Nord would be in India? Sure. But for $500, if you are looking for something brand new, if you're looking for something that's like made in 2020, this might be something worth considering. $500 is still a little up there. I think it's still worth taking a look at what other phones are available, but maybe something to add to your roster of potential phones. So let me get into this. Motorola Edge goes up for pre-order in the US at $500 with a Snapdragon 765. I mean, it's a nice looking phone. The thing that worries me is this Edge. I know it's called the Edge for that specific reason, but the one thing that I always complain about is, yes, aesthetically, these edges on the phones, when they curve over, they look great. The problem is the accidental touches that can come with that. There are ways to remedy this. You can get a case, but for someone like me who doesn't use cases, that's not an option. I can't remember. I know on the Edge Plus, you can turn off the Edge capability. Like it'll turn this Edge completely off. And then maybe that will alleviate it from screen touches. If anyone in chat knows, let me know. I don't even know if anyone, well, no, this phone's not available yet. But I maybe they've already talked about how you don't have to have this Edge on, and then it would eliminate the accidental touch, con for this phone. So back in April, so this is a while ago already, Motorola returned to the flagship arena, for the Edge Plus. And today, its little brother is hitting the market. The standard Motorola Edge is now available for pre-order unlocked with its Snapdragon 765 and a much more reasonable price tag. Yeah, $500, I think, is still higher than I want it to be, but for the specs in here, actually, if I remember correctly, I think this is 256 gigs of internal storage, which then at least makes that $500 price point not as bad. So available for pre-order now on Amazon, Motorola, and Best Buy, the quote mid-tier Edge cuts back from the true flagship that is the Edge Plus, where that phone goes all out with a Snapdragon 865 processor. This version uses the more conservative and affordable Snapdragon 765G. This is the 765G that is coming on the reportedly Pixel 5. It is currently in the LG Velvet. It's in the OnePlus Nord. It's in a lot of phones at this point. This 765G looks to be the standard chipset for manufacturers who don't want to spend a ton of money on an 865 and want to give a more reasonable price point. This still delivers 5G and solid performance, but for a fraction of the price. Fraction is pushing it a little bit there. Still expensive. If you're gonna be delivering a Snapdragon 765G chipset and you're gonna charge $700, that is not a fraction of the price. Is it a fraction of the price when you compare it to, say, a Galaxy S20 Ultra for $1,500, or is it $1,400? Whatever it is, sure. But it's a fraction, no, because you can get a OnePlus 8 with a Snapdragon 865 chipset here in the States, and you can get that for $700. So something to consider if you're thinking about. Look at that. Think about that. If this phone right now was not priced um, on sale for $500 and it retailed at its $700 price point, you can argue that why not just get the OnePlus 8 instead? That has a better chipset. It's not going to have as much internal storage, but it'll have more RAM. I think the battery might be similar. Anyway, just, you know, you got to look at the numbers. You got to see what's right for you. You got to check your priorities there. So the rest of the spec sheet is similar to the Edge Plus 2. The Snapdragon 765 Motorola Edge has a 6.7-inch FHD 90 hertz display, 256 gigs of internal storage, 6 gigs of RAM, and a 4,500 milliamp hour battery with USB-C 18-watt fast charging. There's also a headphone jack, dual stereo speakers, which is great. The one thing I talked about yesterday, I love having stereo speakers on a phone. The biggest con that I have on my Huawei P40 Pro Plus is the fact that it has a mono speaker. It doesn't have stereo speakers. I paid $1,300 for this phone. It doesn't have stereo speakers. I know, and I can't remember now. It was Lucas, I think, who said, well, yeah, the reason the P40 Pro Plus probably doesn't have stereo speakers is because of all of the camera tech that's in it, which is, if that's the case, that's fine, but that still doesn't help my issue with wanting stereo speakers. Okay, so the rear camera array includes a 64 megapixel sensor, a 16 megapixel wide angle, an 8 megapixel telephoto, and a time of flight sensor. And then there's also a 25 megapixel front camera. While the Motorola Edge Plus costs $1,000, this version costs $700 at retail. To get things kicked off, though, early buyers can pre-order the phone for just $500. Plus, this unlocked version won't be exclusive to Verizon, thank God. It'll work on all US carriers. That pre-order promo lasts until July 31st. So I went ahead and I checked on Amazon, and $500 right there. This item will be released on July 31st, and then you can use it with AT&T, Sprint, T-Mobile, and Verizon, and 256 gigs of internal storage. I don't want to say it's the best buy, but it's not a bad buy if you're looking for 5G. I'm still going to point out that 5G still might not be the best indicator for why you should buy a phone. Like, don't use 5G as your priority. At least consider the other specs on here and try to compare it with other phones that are priced at $500 right now. Think of the OnePlus 7 Pro. Think of the OnePlus 7T. Right. Am I saying that right? Yeah. So many names to remember. Think of maybe the upcoming, Pixel 4a. I don't know if that phone's coming out, but I don't think you have a lot of time to consider if you want to spend that $500, since this is you need to get it, I think, before July 31st. So you have maybe a week and a half or so to make that decision. You can get it also from Motorola's website directly. Unlock 256 gigs of internal storage, and at $500. It's a nice looking phone. And Motorola used to be one of my go-tos for phones, and not so much anymore. But I think they have a handful of phones that are still decent, and this might be. Another thing to consider, though, is how long is this Motorola Edge going to be supported for? Is this going to get 2 years of updates? If you don't care about that, then, whatever. But it is still something to consider. But yeah, at that price, I don't think it's bad at all. Let me see what you guys think and what you guys have to say. So, sorry, let me look at chat. Ted says, if they are competing against the Nord, then Moto won. Moto is available in the US. That's true. Unless you're in India. Then I don't know what it costs in India for the Motorola Edge, but if you're in India, you just get the Nord for $400 and you get a great deal for a phone. Paul says, that's a one-sided off-topic conversation for you. Paul, sometimes I have no idea. I get so lost when I talk to Paul. But I think Paul expects that at this point. Tectonic says Edge needs to get out of here. Not feeling the Edge, or are you talking about the Edge Plus, or are you just talking about Motorola in general? Grant says Moto Edge looks worth considering for $100 less than the Velvet, which is why I'm going to talk about the Velvet next, and I think that's a good segue to do that. But thank you for jumping ahead, Grant. Damn it. Tova says LG Velvet all day. I know, Tova. Brian says, how many updates is this device going to get? See, exactly. Better be more than 1 year. I hopefully more than 1 year. Deepak Murthy. Hey, Jerome. What's going on, Deepak? Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. Welcome. Team Varai is in here as well. Team Varai, how's it going, man? How are you feeling? I know you weren't doing so well yesterday. Hopefully things are better. Hi, everyone. Just dropping by the stream for a bit. Finally got back home last night. I'm glad. At least you're home. Still building back some strength and energy. Lots of new tech recently. There is. But more importantly, man, hopefully you're doing well. I'm glad that you're back home at least. And how many times have I said hopefully things, you get to recover quickly. If you need anything, man, give a holler. Let me know how you're doing. So nice to see you though. Welcome. Okay, oh man, I lost my place. Where'd I go here? Grant says still wouldn't drop $500 or $600 on the Edge or Velvet. So like that's kind of how I feel. I'm in the same boat as Grant. I feel very similarly. Damn carriers, 765G phones in other markets are much cheaper. Yes, this is something that I think this is something I talk about every day. Every day I talk about this. $500 is still, I feel like, a lot of money for a Snapdragon 765G chipset. And Grant makes a good point. They are much cheaper in other markets. Why they're so expensive here in the US? Is it because they can get away with it? Is it something else? Is it something that we're missing? I don't know. Okay, let me go back down here. I see a super chat from Deepak. Deepak, thank you, man. A €2 super chat. Deepak, thank you for the support. Not even anything to say. Deepak, thank you. Thank you so much. I just actually added you onto my super chat stream. If you guys didn't check out my intro and outro, well, my outro is a little different, but my intro was different today. I updated my intro. I got everyone in there and there's new music and I'm just trying to up the production a bit. Next is the webcam right there. I got to figure that out. I might use my GoPro Hero 8 or I might use my DSLR, but it might be after I do my move. We'll see. Just trying to up my game, Deepak, thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much. Deepak says, here in Italy, the Moto Edge costs €200 more than the OnePlus Nord. Although I'm a huge Moto fan, I ordered the Nord. You did order it. I was wondering if you were going to get that. Congrats, Deepak. You're going to have to let us know how it is when you get that. I think it's a great deal, especially, well, more so in India than in Italy, right? Because you paid €400 or euro. Is it euro or euros? €400 in Europe or in Italy. Anyway. Congrats either way. Tectonic says, I meant the curved displays. They're trash and useless. I cannot disagree with you there. Edge displays gross. Team Verizon says, thank you, Jerome. Much appreciated. Feels so much better back home. I'm glad, man. Glad you're at home. Okay, so Sean is in here. Yo, what up, chat? What up, Sean? What's going on, man? Welcome. Oh, that's right. Deepak, that's right. You got it for €369. Awesome. That's great. Yeah. Levin says, lucky guy to be able to get the Nord. I think a lot of people feel similarly. Yeah, you're going to have to let us know how that phone is. At least from what I've seen, it looks like a really decent phone. So really quick, I know I'm just we're 20 minutes into it, but I'm just going to do this real quick for everyone in here. If you guys haven't had a chance, please hit that like button. I know that sounds like cheesy, gimmicky marketing, and it probably is, but that's the only way I can get a little support here from YouTube because I don't know, YouTube's being YouTube, but please, if you get a chance, hit that like button. I do stream weekdays at 2 p.m. Central. So if you want to get notified about that and you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button. It's just the way to support and I do appreciate it. And if you haven't noticed, if you're in chat, you see people with green in their name, you see a red Chicago star next to their name. That is because they are part of the Phone Jerome fam, and you can be one too for as little as 99 cents a month. All you got to do is click that join button. Really, guys, it's just a way to support me, especially since this is something that I want to do full time. This is something I'm trying to really double down on. But if for as little as 99 cents a month, I sound like a total salesman. But you get the green in your name, you'll get the red Chicago star, and then you get to use custom emoji, and you'll have your name on every single one of my intros and outros of my live streams. Either way, it's just a way to support, and I appreciate it. So thank you guys. I'll leave it at that. So let's go ahead. Let's continue on. Oh, one more thing. If you can't find that blue join button, you can go to youtube.com/phone Jerome/join. Also, I have a Patreon. I really haven't pushed that much, but if you don't want to do that, you can also support me on Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/phone Jerome. Okay. Let's go ahead. Now that we talked about the Motorola Edge, I want to talk about the LG Velvet. So the LG Velvet is coming in the US. For anyone who is looking for this phone, it's coming to the States. And it's coming for the... So the rumor when it first came out is that it was probably going to hit the US at a $700 price point. And I'm not on board with that price point. I think that's way too much money for a phone with a Snapdragon 765G. I also, later on, as we've learned more about the Velvet doesn't have, LG doesn't have the quad DAC for this phone. So you're not going to get that superior audio if you're an audiophile and you're looking for that part of the hardware. And it's hard to justify that price. It really is. Is it a nice looking phone? Yeah, it looks beautiful. I think it's a great looking phone, but I don't know if it's worth the money. I'm saying I don't know. It's not worth the money, not at that price point. But here, right now, they're talking about a $600 price point. Would I pay $600 for this phone? I wouldn't. Would I recommend it at $600? I wouldn't either. Not when you can. We just talked about this Motorola Edge at $500. Or if you think about a OnePlus 7 Pro for $500, a OnePlus 7T for $500, and I'm sure there's a plethora of other phones that are cheaper and probably better than what you could get out of this LG Velvet and maybe out of the Motorola Edge. But I just wanted to talk about it because I think it's important to at least look at the price points and, give you options of what's out there. So this article from The Verge says LG stylish mid-range Velvet phone launches in the US on July 22nd. AT&T has first dibs with T-Mobile and Verizon support coming later this summer. Okay, so you can't even get this phone unlocked at all. You're going to have to get it straight from the carrier, and who knows what the carrier is going to put on this phone. So that's also something to consider. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say this, but I am not a fan of carrier locked phones. I'm not. I don't want to go into a carrier and buy my phone. I don't think that's where you need to be buying phones, because most of the time these carriers are going to, unless it's an iPhone, which is also it's just the power of Apple. Apple has such a stronghold. They know that they know iPhones are going to sell. So Apple's like, no, you can't put any of your stuff on our phones. But I'm sure this LG Velvet is going to have some kind of bloatware on it, just like every other Android that ends up showing up at a particular carrier. Not all of them are like that, but a good number of them are. LG's Velvet will be available in the US starting tomorrow, July 22nd, which is today. So today, following its launch in South Korea and several European countries. The mid-range phone will debut online at AT&T with support for its 5G network, costing $20 a month for 30 months, totaling $600. That's another question for me here. It's over there. I'm like looking at the floor too. It's on the floor. It's sitting on top of a book. But I have my OnePlus 6T there. I bought that phone from T-Mobile because at the time T-Mobile had a really good deal on it. I think they took $200 off or $300 off on the OnePlus 6T, and I bought a carrier locked phone. It didn't have a ton of bloatware on it, but it had some of T-Mobile stuff or whatever. Here's the thing. I still couldn't buy that phone outright. They had to do it in installment. Well, I mean, I did eventually pay for it outright, but I think when you first had it, you had to commit to that phone for like, I think 3 months or something. But what they did is you paid for the phone and they took a certain amount off. It was such like a convoluted way of doing it. Instead of just saying, hey, here's a phone I like, here's the money for the phone, end of the day. But it doesn't work that way. So for this, so if you buy it on AT&T where it says it costs $20 a month for 30 months, I don't even know if you're able to just say, here's $600. Can I just buy this phone and then I'm done with it? A lot of times you need to double check with carriers to make sure that that's even possible. Because sometimes they'll say, no, you got to pay for it every month. And the reason they do that is because they get to keep you for that year and 6 months or whatever it is for, or 2 years. This is 2.5 months or 2.5 years, 30 months that you might just be stuck with AT&T, especially if you don't like them. And I just don't like being tied to a carrier like that. I also just don't want bloatware. And yeah. So for a limited time, let me switch this back up here. For a limited time, the carrier is offering the phone for half that monthly cost if you buy one on an installment plan with a new line of service. So if you buy a new line of service, then you get $300, but then again, you get it for $300, which is then a great deal, but you are completely tied to you're completely tied to AT&T and you got to get a new line. So most people already have a line. I just don't know who that would be beneficial for, unless you cancel your old line, get a new. I don't know. It just seems like more of a mess and more of a headache than anything else, because I'm not going to be giving up my current phone number and then having to switch everything up. Like, no. Okay, so AT&T will carry the Velvet in store starting on August 7th. T-Mobile and Verizon will support it later this summer. LG noted that the Velvet is compatible with Verizon's millimeter wave ultra-wideband 5G network, as well as its sub-6 gigahertz network, which Verizon currently plans to have ready later this year. LG confirmed to The Verge that it won't be selling an unlocked version of the Velvet. That's a shame that LG won't sell an unlocked version of it. There's just a single configuration of the Velvet, 6 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of internal storage, micro SD card support. While 600 seems like a decent deal, I don't think it's a decent deal. I think it's overpriced at $600, to be honest with you. It's certainly not as aggressively priced as previous flagship phones, like the $700 LG G8X that included the dual screen attachment by default. If you want the dual screen attachment for the Velvet, it'll cost you an extra $200. And then you got to visit a page to get it, whatever. The Velvet isn't attempting to go head-to-head in terms of power with Samsung, Google, OnePlus, blah, blah, blah. So it has 765G. While certainly not as fast as a Snap 865, it allows the Velvet to be more affordable while still having 5G connectivity. Features a 4,300 milliamp hour battery, and with this chipset, most people shouldn't have an issue making it through at least a day or more under normal use cases, though connecting to 5G will probably severely impact it. And then design, obviously, it's a really nice looking design. It's a beautiful looking phone, but I don't think it's worth the price. The Velvet does feature a headphone jack, but unfortunately it lacks the quad DAC hardware for hi-fi music that most flagship LG phones from the past handful of years have had. So again, consider that if you are planning to buy this phone. And most LG phones have that quad DAC, and this isn't going to have it in here. So actually, it says here my colleague reviewed the Korean variant of the Velvet, which has the slightly slower Snap 765. He noticed some performance stutters, but generally it's not as much of a compromise as you might expect. However, that doesn't mean that it's a breeze to use. Apps load quickly, web pages render as expected, games run fine, and so on. But the Velvet still somehow feels slow. That is not promising. Whether it's the 60 hertz display or the stuttery scrolling in certain apps, I don't know if it's the chip itself or LG software, but it doesn't match up to other 2020 flagship Android phones. That's a little disappointing. It also makes me wonder, so like the OnePlus Nord has the same chipset as this, and they're talking about here that it's kind of stuttering, but they don't know if it's the 60 hertz display. They don't know if it's the UI. I would imagine that the OnePlus Nord has been optimized well enough that it probably won't have those issues. I guess we'll wait and see what reviewers have to say, but so far it seems like, at least as far as first impressions go, from what I've seen, it looks like the Nord is able to handle, a good amount without that much of an issue, as opposed to what I'm reading here with the LG Velvet. Reading that makes me not even want to recommend it even further. You're gonna be paying more money, and then it might have some kind of issues here where when someone says that the phone feels slow, it's not a good thing to talk about at all whatsoever. Okay. So Brian with the dollar super chat. Brian, thank you, man. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the continued support as always. Guys, thank you again so much. Thank you for always doing what you guys do. Really appreciate the support. Really appreciate you guys being here. It does mean a lot to me, and that's why I keep trying to push and do better and try to make these streams like more entertaining and all that kind of whatever stuff. But Brian, thanks, man. Thanks so much. All right, let me get back up into chat here. Let me make sure I didn't miss anyone. Okay, so yeah, Deepak says I'm going to do an in-depth testing of the Nord. Well, thank you, Deepak. Keep us posted. Keep us posted. So let's see here. Sean says, smash the like and subscribe. Thank you, Sean. Thanks again for the support. Gandek, welcome to the stream. Nice to have you. Does not look good from the front like every LG phone nowadays. Thank you for the input, Gandak, and welcome. Tectonic says, speaking about audiophile, if you are a serious audiophile, get Viper for Android root. One of the best rooted features you can get and will enhance sound beyond imagination. Thank you for sharing that. I've heard of Viper for Android. I don't think I've ever used it before, but thank you for sharing that. I wasn't aware that that's what they were known for, but thank you. Thanks a lot, Tectonic. Deepak also says $600 is not a good sign for a mid-ranger. Yeah, and then actually after reading through the rest of that article, the rest of it now kind of makes me push away from the phone. Okay, so let's see here. Paul says newborns are its target market. They don't have a line yet. That's a very early target market to get there. Tectonic, you guys are so no, newborns are great devices. Okay. Deepak says, I'm afraid the new Pixel 5 will cost at least $700 with the 765 processor. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it's going to come in at as well. I don't know what is going to separate itself from everything else in the market today. So if the Pixel 5 plans on coming in at $700, they really, I mean, how many times can I say it? They really need to kill it then. They need to have something in there that's going to separate it from the rest of the crowd that's coming out with their phones. Let me see here. Tectonic says, I feel like we should all just wait on the Pixel 6 at this point. Yeah, I know. Especially at that price. It's really hard to justify. And I don't even have Pixel. It's so funny how we always end up talking about the Pixel. No matter what, I feel like the Pixel gets mentioned almost every stream, even if I don't have it as an article, just because we always circle back to the Pixel phone. All right, so let's continue on here. I have this article from Android Police about the ROG Phone 3. I think it got announced today. Am I right in saying that? But Asus unveils, well, yeah, if they unveiled it, the ROG Phone 3 with the Snap 865 Plus and up to 16 gigs of RAM. So this is the now newest chipset you can buy from Qualcomm. 16 gigs of RAM is ridiculously insane for your phone, which maybe won't be something, 2 years down the road, everyone's going to have 16 gigs of RAM on their phone, but that's crazy. I like how this small headline here says, time to replace your home computer. Gaming phones are chunky, overpowered beasts with outrageous Gaming phones are chunky, overpowered beasts with outrageous aesthetics that most consumers don't need. Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense. But if you're someone who doesn't care about looks or weight, they pack incredible oomph. I care about looks. Are you saying this doesn't look good? I don't know. I'm kind of weird. I kind of like the look of it. Actually, Team Varai, I think, sent me something on Twitter, and it was the ROG Phone 3, I think, in white. And it looked awesome. I was like, I would buy that. Asus released its ROG Phone 2 last year, and it earned a place on Android Police's most wanted list. Now the company has unveiled its successor, and the ROG Phone 3 is probably more powerful than your home computer. Not mine. I got 32 gigs on mine, so you got to be 32 gigs of RAM. The ROG Phone 3 is ostensibly built for pro-level gaming, so it's equipped with the latest and greatest Snap 865 Plus with 5G capability. It has a 6.59-inch AMOLED screen, should provide a great visual experience. So look at that, 144 hertz refresh rate, 12 gigs of RAM for the base model, and 128 gigs of internal storage. Asus has also refreshed its trademark air trigger system, which has traditionally used pressure sensitivity to approximate shoulder buttons to include motion sensing, which allows for even more ways to control the action. So when they talk about air triggers, does that mean they're not real shoulder buttons, right? They're not real, like it's literally me going like this. That's pretty cool. I wonder how well that really works. I still would rather have an actual controller instead of using my phone as a controller. And I think and I know that's probably been done. I'm sure there are ways to do that, but until there is like a good solid solution for that for all gaming, and I don't game on my phone, so I have no idea. But when that becomes here, I'll say this: the day I can play Rocket League on my phone with a controller, with my Xbox controller, will be the day I really start mobile gaming. That'll be the day I start mobile gaming, when I can do that. When that happens, let me know. Yes, yesterday I actually had an article about Rocket League and how Rocket League is going to be free to play later this summer, which is great. If any of you guys want to play Rocket League together, let me know. I will. I don't spend a lot of time gaming, but every now and then I'll spend like 30 minutes or so. Just, it kind of helps me like clear my head to play Rocket League like 3 or 4 games. Anyway. Or if you play Rocket League now and you need a partner, let me know. Okay, moving on. So this Asus ROG Phone 3, here are the other specs. I was about to hit Steam, and then I realized I need to make this screen bigger. Look at that. It has a 6,000 milliamp hour battery. That's ridiculously huge for a battery. 30-watt fast charging. Oh, there you go. Well, I still would rather have a wireless controller than that, but that is a better solution. I'd rather have that than just use my phone outright. What is this? The Kunai 3 gamepad transforms the phone into a mobile gaming system. Again, I would rather like set up my mini tripod and have that as my stand and then use my Xbox controller. That's what I want out of it. I am sure there are some gamers who are in here. I'm talking to Team Varai, and I don't know if he's ever just done something like I've been saying, but if there's a way to do that, let me know. I would totally check that out. Along with the ROG Phone 3, Asus announced a variety of gaming accessories and peripherals during its Game Charger virtual launch event. There's the Kunai 3 gamepad, which adds console-like gamepad controls to the phone. Gamers can connect the phone to, there we go. Gamers can connect the phone to PlayStation, Stadia, or Xbox controllers with the ROG clip. And in true 2020 fashion, Asus provides a dual screen option with the TwinView Dock 3. The company also has new gaming headphones that connect via USB-C and have active noise cancellation. Well, that's good. I wonder how good those headphones are. This is a different segment that I would get into if there were games that I would want to play. It would give me a better chance to really test the phone out too, to see how, I don't know. It also seems like a very expensive option that I don't really have a lot of money for. Again, for people who are new here, I'm moving into a new apartment August 1st, so I'm going to be living very lean. And I'm trying to like really make this YouTube thing a thing. So I don't know how good the money is going to be by that time to spend. Anyway, while most mainstream phone buyers probably will look elsewhere, it's kind of cool that Asus is giving hardcore mobile gamers an ecosystem made for them. I love it. I really do. I think this is a great thing to give gamers. I love that there is a solution out there for people who want to experience gaming. We talked about this before. So a phone like this that's going to have, it has a cooling system in it, is most likely not going to have any kind of IP68 dust and water certification, it's not waterproof or whatever, dust or you know what I'm saying, because of the cooling system, because of the vents. And I think Brian had mentioned that before. But I also love the marketing for it. These are like the colors for gamers. It's all of the like neon reds and blues and purples. And if I had the money, I would totally buy one just to test it out and really see what games I could play on it, or at least games that might be interesting for me. But I think they said last year's ROG phone was 900 $900. So this ROG Phone 3 is probably going to be more, maybe 1100, maybe 1000, I would imagine at least, but it's going to be up there in price. It's I don't know. I keep seeing this phone and I have specs here too. I just went to the page just to see it. I don't know. I think it's a cool looking phone. I actually like the Legion phone too. That Lenovo gaming phone they're making. Maybe it's because I like to build PCs, and even though I don't have a lot of like LED lighting on my, if you guys saw I have a video of my PC setup that I made like 4 years ago, and I'm still using the exact same setup, but I have my case is like stealth black. It's black all around. The only lighting you have is at the back. That's the only lighting you see. It's like a bright, well, it's customizable, but I just have it like bright red in the back. And then I have a Razer mouse that has like a little LED strip, but that's as far as, it goes when it comes to color. And maybe that's why I like this kind of thing so much. Like I see this cooling thing, I'm like, oh, that's pretty awesome. Like, why not? I would run an app to let me know how the internal temps are on my phone, just to like play around with it and see how well it actually works. That would actually make for a really good video too. But again, a lot of that would be very expensive. That is a huge battery though. That's crazy. So, okay. Let me go ahead and get back into chat here. So let me see. Deepak says the Pixel is like the holy grail of overpriced phones. Yeah, man, I feel like that's a slogan at this point. Brian says, what the hell? The OnePlus 8 has the Snapdragon 865 for the same price. Yeah, exactly. Pixel 5 can. Yeah, I know. Team Verizon says, wow, just so many phones lately, except for the 4A. Exactly. Kyle Brass is in here. Kyle, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. ROG 3 definitely got released today. Woke up to 8 different reveal review videos. There you go. Thank you for sharing, Kyle. Thank you so much. Let's see. Team Rise says, I've been to the hospital and back, and still the 4A has not been released. I don't think it's coming out anytime soon. I did say it was going to be coming out in July, and I'm going to lose that bet completely. Selwonk, what's going on, man? Rocket League on Steam is going free to play. I know. Selwonk, actually, I think I saw your Twitter or your tweet on it. I actually had it up as one of my stories yesterday. I just didn't have time to discuss it. But yeah, I'm so excited that it's finally going to be free to play. They should have made it free to play a long time ago. I've been playing that game, I think, for 3 years now, and I've gotten my money's worth and then some. I still play it every day, just like even 10 minutes or so. It'll be moving from Steam to the Epic Game Store, I know. So I'm excited. Hopefully it'll get more people to play. I think we need more people overall just playing the game, but yeah. Big House Productions is in here. Big House Productions, how's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Hey, Jerome, stream. Big House, thank you for making it. Appreciate you stopping by. Team Verizon says the most I've done is clip my phone to a Bluetooth controller. Okay. Well, I was just curious how that was, or how your experience was when it came to that. Brian says Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter game, Jerome. Yeah. Like I play those too, but I don't know if they would ever, well, I don't know. With the way gaming is lately, or phones are, I feel like they might be capable of playing a lot of this stuff. I mean, if Fortnite and PUBG can do it, why can't I see Rocket League come to mobile? Psyonix or Epic Games, they have to be working on something now where they can put Rocket League on mobile. That would be awesome. That would be the one I would totally test out and see if I could play on it. Big House says, I know I'm late, but the Moto Edge looks like a great buy at $500 since the Nord didn't come to the US. Yeah, we were just talking about that. We had a good discussion on that, but we also talked about whether or not $500 would be worth it to buy that Motorola Edge. I mean, I think if anything that is right on the cusp of a phone at that price. Oh no, you know what? You know what makes that phone at least somewhat a. I mean, I think it's a competitive price, but I think what does it for me, Big House, is the fact that you can get that phone for $500. It has a Snapdragon 765G chipset, but it also has 256 gigs of internal storage. So I think at that point, and it's unlocked, so you're not tied to a carrier. If I had the money, I would consider like getting that to test it out. If I had the money, and I don't. So yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a good buy for a lot of people. I think if you're in the US and you were kind of considering a Nord, that might be a good competitor for it. But at the end of the day, for someone in India who buys the Nord, or like Deepak who lives in Italy who just bought the phone for $425, you're already at you're already at an advantage there because you've already paid less for your phone. And not a lot of people need 256 gigs of internal storage, but that's just up to, that just depends on the person. So let me see here. Brian says no gaming while swimming. Those old Xperia commercials. You know what, Brian? Yeah, remember, I'm sure. So for people who have been in the phone game for a while, do you remember when those Xperia commercials came out and they talked about the IP68, dust and water resistance, and they were in the swimming pool and they were like underwater with it, and later on they were like, no, we can't make those commercials because, like, yeah, it's waterproof, but it's not meant to just like sit in the water like that. I remember people used to ask me, even like friends and family used to ask me, they would be like, so I can take the phone in the shower with me now? And it's like, dude, why you're so like, we're so tied to our phones. We're like, it is an extension of us at this point. It's like, imagine when you leave your house or your apartment and you don't have your phone on you. Imagine how lost you feel without it. And I think if you need the phone in the shower with you, I think you have a problem. I really think you have a problem. I think the only benefit of having a phone in the shower with you is if you want to play music off your speakers. But at that point, just get a Google, Nest Mini, whatever they call it now, or an Alexa, and put that in your bathroom and hook it up to your outlet. Do that. Please don't bring your phone in the shower with you. I just don't understand, unless you want to clean your phone, because God knows how dirty that phone is. That's the only time I'd recommend you bringing that phone in the shower. All right, let me move on here. So let me see here. Team Verizon says, Jerome, I did use the Bluetooth controller mostly for Game Boy Advance emulating. That's awesome. I used to do emulation a lot, and I just haven't had the chance to really look into that lately. And for the most part, it handled well, was able to beat a few games with that setup. That's awesome. That's great. Thank you for sharing that experience, man, or that feedback. John is in here. What's going on? When I hear Nord, all I can think of is NordVPN. It's funny. Every time I think of Nord, all I can think about is Noid. Do you guys know who Noid is? If you don't know who Noid is, that means you're too young, or you're not from the States, or maybe they had the Noid elsewhere. Noid was like that little red character for Domino's Pizza, and it was like, avoid the Noid. I don't know if you guys know who I'm talking about, but that's what I think about every time I hear about the OnePlus Nord. So moving on, let's see here. The next story I have is on the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. Let me remove that. As far as the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, this leak here reveals almost all the specs and renders from every angle. It'll be the first phone optimized for Xbox Game Pass. So actually, this is a good segue to talk about gaming. Actually, I don't know how this works. I haven't had a chance to really read it, so I might have questions. So chat, please, if you can help answer these questions for me, I would greatly appreciate it. As is customary before every smartphone unveiling, the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra has been leaked extensively ahead of its August launch event. Both official and unofficial sources have already shown us what the device will look like and what they're expected to pack under the hood. But this latest leak coming from trusted site WinFuture has left almost nothing to the imagination. There's a full set of Galaxy Note 20 Ultra renders included, along with the details of its Project X Cloud gaming features co-developed with Microsoft. We've already had our first good look at the Note 20's Ultra Hot Bronze colorway. I was talking to Brian, and I think Six was in there as well. And I was just talking about how if I had the money, I would buy the Note 20 Ultra. I don't know. Lately, I just been wanting like every phone, maybe just to compare it to what I have right now on my P40 Pro Plus. But I would totally buy this bronze Note 20 Ultra. I've never owned a Note device before, but if I were to buy one, I would try to get this one and test it out. Maybe one of these days. Again, if I can start really pushing this channel, that's my goal right now. That's my goal, is to really push what I'm doing and try to get it moving. But if I'm able to get that back up and running, then it might give me the opportunity to really dive into some of these other phones. So these official looking renders corroborate much of what we already know, while also highlighting the phone's similarity to the Note 10 in design. The thick S20 Ultra inspired camera is enough to differentiate this as a Note 20 series phone, though. I guess. I still think the Note 20 Ultra and the S20 Ultra, they seem like just an updated version of itself, except one is more rectangular than the other, and one has a pen. Speaking of cameras, this phone gets one less than the S20 Ultra, as the close-up shot above shows. The Note 20 Ultra will pack a triple camera setup headlined by a 108 megapixel sensor paired with a laser autofocus system, and hopefully an autofocus system that has now fixed itself. The other two consist of ultra-wide and periscope zoom lenses, both with 12 megapixel sensors. The latter will also ditch the S20 Ultra's 100 times space zoom, which, if I'm not mistaken, at least from what people have said, was a gimmick, kind of a joke. It didn't work well. But I've never had it, so it's hard for me to just say that outright. That's just from what I've read or seen or heard. So this is going to have a more modest 50 times capability. Yeah, they're calling this 100 times space zoom gaudy branding. That's exactly what it is. The handset will pack a massive 6.9-inch Quad HD 120 hertz panel layered with Gorilla Glass 7 and industry first. As for the rest of the specs, this super premium Galaxy Note 20 is said to pack the Exynos 990 chip, not even the rumored 992, in markets outside North America. It'll be paired with 12 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs of internal storage at UFS 3.1. So I think that's the fastest in terms of storage at this point. That iconic S Pen will retain its predecessor's design, but the report says that it could come with reduced latency of 9 milliseconds. That's good. This will include a 4,500 milliamp hour battery, which sounds like it might be on the small side for a phone with a display that big, and probably also at 120 hertz. What's interesting here is that Samsung and Microsoft have deepened their partnership to ready the 5G-enabled Note 20 Ultra for the latter's upcoming cloud gaming service, Project X Cloud. I haven't really heard or learned much about this X Cloud. The report adds that the Xbox Game Pass will allow users to stream 90 games right on their phone. This exclusive deal is said to include specific under-the-hood optimizations for smoother gameplay over a low-latency 5G connection. All that sounds great in an ideal world, but the current state of 5G is far from ideal. I'm glad that they pointed that out. Thank you. Who is this? Android Police. Thank you, Android Police, for at least being transparent about that. But let me ask a question. So this Project X Cloud, this is cloud gaming for mobile. Is this how this works? So if I have Xbox's Game Pass, is it going to use any kind of GPU rendering on my phone? Is it going to use any kind of processing with the SoC for the 865 plus? Or I guess Exynos 990 for people outside of the US. And I'm able to play like Xbox games straight from my phone with, I'm assuming, my Xbox controller. And would I be able to play games that are capable of multiplayer with other people online? I'm assuming so. Really, what I'm trying to ask is, will one of these games be Rocket League? And can I play Rocket League using this phone? I'm curious how this works, because I know nothing about how the Xbox Game Pass will work. So the Note 20 Ultra is expected to be accompanied by a standard Note 20, but no Plus model like the S20 line. We'll find out about the new phones officially at the Galaxy Unpacked event scheduled for August 5th, when Samsung will unveil a total of 55 devices under different categories. Not really 55, just Samsung releases a lot of devices, and I just had to make fun of them for a second there. So, okay, let me go back into chat here. Deepak says, in fact, that phone is a virtual private network phone. The OnePlus Nord, only India and Europe. Tectonic says, I think you are in the minority on that one, Jerome. Wait, what did I say? Rocket League? Is that what you mean? I don't know. Deepak P, welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. I hate Samsung phones. If you're buying Android, go for OnePlus or buy last year's old iPhone. I know a lot of people feel similarly. I would have said the same thing not too long ago. I think me buying my Huawei lately has made me kind of like change my mind about things, but I haven't owned a Galaxy phone since the Galaxy S9. I think I had the S9 and I had the S9 Plus. I had both. But I haven't had a phone since then, and I'd imagine if I got a Samsung phone recently, I don't know, maybe my head would just be like, I can't use this. I just don't. No, you know what would upset me is, as soon as I use the keyboard and I looked at the emoji, I'd be like, I can't do this. Like, that's the one thing I think that bothers me, is the emoji on Samsungs. I just can't deal with their emoji on there. Paul says, the only thing I'm jealous about those Yanks. Are you calling me a Yank? Is that what I am? Those Yanks get an SD, or we get the Snapdragon. You guys get the Exynos. Then again, we get the Nord. Fair enough. So let me see here. Tectonic says Noid. Paul Hendrick says A71. What about the A71? What are we talking about? Okay. So I had a couple other stories here about the Galaxy Z Flip, the Galaxy Z Flip 5G, I guess, going official, but I'm not really going to talk about that today. That is, I feel like a therapist right now. This is our hour. Our hour is up for today. But that's all I got for you guys today. I do want to thank everybody. I appreciate everybody for stopping by. Guys, thank you so much. The one thing I'm going to start doing is I'm going to try to keep this right in an hour. I think unless like something is just crazy to talk about and we need to spend time, and Paul's saying, oh yeah, that's right. Paul's saying A71, you had a Samsung. That's right. I did have an A71 that I barely used. I didn't even do a camera comparison on it. I owned that phone for like 2 weeks, maybe a month, and I barely used that phone. I didn't even give a proper review of any of that. But you're right. You're so right. I did have a Samsung. That was the one I had, and I barely used it. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, so okay, Tectonics is like you. Okay, guys. So anyway, with that being said, I do want to thank everybody again for stopping by. If you haven't had a chance, please feel free, hit that like button. I know it sounds like cheesy, gimmicky marketing, but it really does help support me. If you have a chance, hit that subscribe button, so you get notified of when I am streaming, or if anything, it's just the way to support. So, but I do want to thank everybody again. Thank you for all the likes, the people subscribing, the people talking in chat. I appreciate that. as well. To all my patrons, my Patreons, my YouTube members, thank you again so much. I've added you in my intros and outros of my live streams that you are now going to see. So with that being said, thank you again so much. Deepak has one more question that I will answer since we're here. Is the 865 Plus better than the A13 Bionic in Antutu's benchmark score? Well, Deepak P, I don't think I can answer that because I really don't know. But if anything, if history proves correct, I think the A13 Bionic is still superior to anything else. But I could be wrong. I really don't know. You'd probably just have to Google and check. But Deepak P, thank you for making the show. Deepak Murthy also says, nice show. Thanks, Jerome. No problem, Deepak. Guys, thank you again so much. Come back tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central. We'll do it all over again. Thank you again. I have all the supporters in my outro here. It is a new outro, although it looks very similar, but enjoy. Here's me waving goodbye. Thank you guys. See you tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye.